If you think your credit card is your emergency fund, it's not, and that mistake is about to cost you thousands. Let me show you why. Chapter 1. The story that started this video. 3 days ago, a woman named Priya sent me a message that genuinely kept me up that night. She said her furnace died in the middle of a cold snap. The repair quote was $1,900. Her checking account had $215 in it. Her exact words were, "I don't know what I'm supposed to do here." I felt that in my chest because I've lived that exact moment, and I already know how this story usually ends if nothing changes. Priya is about to swipe a credit card for $1,900 at 23% interest. That $1,900 problem doesn't stay a $1,900 problem. It turns into $2,300, then $2,800. Then she's making minimum payments for years while the balance barely moves. And here's the part that should scare you. Priya isn't rare. She's the norm. Something like 3 out of 4 people in this country are living paycheck to paycheck right now. And most of them think they have a safety net, but what they actually have is a piece of plastic with a limit on it. That is not the same thing as savings, not even close. Chapter 2, quick intro. Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, I talk about building real wealth in plain, no fluff terms. I started investing seriously in my late teens, and I've grown that into a 7-figure portfolio while working a completely average, unglamorous job. I'm not special. I just learned the order of operations early, and today I'm handing that to you. So before we go further, has an unexpected bill ever wiped out your savings or wrecked your budget out of nowhere? If that's you, type app in the comments right now so I know who's actually watching this with me. Let's get into it. Chapter 3, why "I'll just put it on my card" is a trap. Let's play this out with numbers, because numbers don't lie. Your car dies. It's a $700 fix. You don't have $700 sitting around, so it goes on the card at 20% plus interest. Now that $700 repair is on track to cost you $900, $1,100, maybe more, depending on how long it takes you to pay it down. Or worse, you lose your job. No cushion. Bills are due in 14 days whether you're ready or not. So you panic accept the first job offer you get, even if it pays less, even if you hate it, because you have zero leverage. No fallback means no choices. This is the reality for the majority of people right now. And if that's you, I need you to actually hear this next part. It is not a personal failure. Nobody handed us a manual for this. Nobody explained in school why a cash cushion is the single most important financial move you'll ever make before investing, before hustling, before any of it. Here's the mindset shift. An emergency fund isn't just money set aside for bad days. It's what stops the bad day from turning into a bad year. It's the line between constantly reacting to life and actually being in control of it. Quick disclaimer before we go on. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. This is just what's worked for me, backed by research. Always verify things for your own situation and talk to a professional if you need tailored advice. Chapter 4, Phase 1, the $1,000 starter cushion. So how much do you actually need? I break this into 2 phases, and Phase 1 is small on purpose, $1,000. That's the whole target for Phase 1, just $1,000 parked somewhere you don't touch unless it's real. Why that number specifically? Because studies on financial emergencies show that around 80% of the small to mid-sized curveballs life throws at you, a car repair, a dental bill, a busted appliance, fall under that $1,000 mark. It won't save you from everything, but it'll save you from going into debt for most things. And here's the key part. You build this fast, like sprint speed fast, faster than paying extra on debt, faster than investing, faster than anything else on your financial to-do list. This is priority 1, full stop. Once that $1,000 is sitting there, you move to Phase 2. Chapter 5, Phase 2, the real safety net, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Phase 2 is bigger, 3 to 6 months of expenses, not income, expenses. Big difference. Example, say you bring home $5,000 a month, but your actual monthly expenses are $3,200. Your real target range is $9,600 to $19,200, 3 to 6 times your expenses, not your paycheck. So how do you know if you need 3 months or 6? Here's my rule of thumb. Go with 3 months if you're single, your job is stable, and you have options in your field. You could realistically land another job in weeks, not months. Go with 6 months if you're supporting a family, self-employed, work commission-based, or work in an industry that can turn on a dime. And here's a hot take. I consider working for a large, publicly traded company volatile, too. One rough earnings quarter, and suddenly there's a layoff round. Those companies can shift their staffing plans overnight, and that unpredictability deserves a bigger cushion, not a smaller one. The goal of Phase 2 is simple. If your income vanished tomorrow, could you keep the lights on? We're talking rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, minimum debt payment. Not your streaming subscriptions, not vacations, not takeout, the essentials only. Chapter 6, where this money actually belongs. Now, where do you park this cash? Not your checking account, not a basic savings account at a giant national bank, definitely not stuffed in a drawer somewhere, and definitely not in the stock market. Your emergency fund belongs in a high-yield savings account for 3 specific reasons. It needs to be safe, liquid, and separate. Safe means it's FDIC insured. If something happens to the bank itself, the government guarantees you get your money back. Liquid means you can pull it out fast. No penalties, no waiting weeks. Usually it lands in your checking account within a day or two. Separate means it's nowhere near your everyday spending account. Because if that money is sitting right next to your grocery and coffee budget, you will spend it. That's not a character flaw. That's just how human brains work around visible cash. Right now, high-yield accounts are paying somewhere in the 3 to 4% APY range. Compare that to the 0.01% you're probably earning at a traditional big bank. That's basically nothing. On a $10,000 emergency fund, that difference is a few $100s a year in free money, just for choosing the right account. Keep in mind these rates move with the Federal Reserve, so they'll shift over time, but they'll almost always beat a standard savings account by a wide margin. Chapter 7. Let's kill 4 excuses right now. Excuse 1. I can't afford to save anything. If you can't find $20 to $50 a week, that tells me an emergency is going to hit even harder when it comes. And it will come. Do this. Track every dollar you spend for the next 30 days. You will find leaks you didn't know existed. Once you find them, redirect just $50 a month and you'll hit $1,000 in under 2 years. And once you have that cushion, you will never want to go back to living without it. Excuse 2. I'll just use my credit card if something happens. A credit card is not a safety net. It's borrowed money with a price tag attached. Using it for an emergency doesn't solve the problem. It postpones it and makes it more expensive. An emergency fund is money you own. A credit card is money you owe. Those are opposites. Excuse 3. I need to invest now or I'll miss out on gains. I get where this comes from, but wealth needs a foundation first. If you start investing before you have a cushion, the moment life happens, you're yanking money out of the market, possibly at a loss if it's down that month. And if you refuse to touch your investments, you'll go into debt instead, paying 20% plus interest while hoping to earn 8 to 10% in the market. That math never works in your favor. The order matters. Starter fund first, then high interest debt, then the full 3 to 6 month fund, then invest aggressively. Excuse 4. Where do I even put this? Already covered it. High yield savings account. Safe, liquid, separate. That's the whole formula. If this is clicking for you so far, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this reach someone else who needs to hear it today. Chapter 8. The 4-step build plan. Step 1. Sprint to your first $1,000. Cut expenses temporarily. Sell things you don't use. Pick up a side gig for a couple months. Throw your tax refund or work bonus straight at it. Whatever gets you there fastest, do it. This intensity isn't permanent. It's just the opening sprint. Step 2. Once you hit $1,000, pause and attack high interest debt. Anything above roughly 10 to 15% interest, credit cards especially, gets your full attention now. Freeze the emergency fund at $1,000 while you knock this out. Step 3. Once that debt is gone, go build the full 3 to 6 month fund. Calculate your real monthly expenses. Then set up an automatic transfer from checking to your high yield account on every payday. Automating this removes willpower from the equation entirely. You're not relying on motivation. You're relying on a system. That's what actually works long term. Step 4. If you ever have to use it, rebuild it immediately. Don't let it quietly stay empty. Make refilling it the very next financial priority. Chapter 9. What actually counts as an emergency? An emergency is unexpected, necessary, and urgent. All 3. Car repair, emergency. Routine oil change, not an emergency. That's maintenance you saw coming. Medical bill, emergency. Elective cosmetic work, not an emergency. Sudden job loss, emergency. Quitting because you're burned out and want a break, not an emergency. That's a personal decision. Plan for it separately. Your fund isn't for wants, not vacations, not holiday gift, not the new TV you've been eyeing. The second you start treating it like a backup spending account, it won't be there the day you genuinely need it. Chapter 10. Why this one habit changes everything. Here's the bottom line. This fund isn't optional. It's the foundation everything else sits on. Without it, you're perpetually one flat tire away from debt, one layoff away from crisis, one bill away from a credit card spiral that swallows years of your life. With it, you get breathing room. You get to make decisions from a place of calm instead of panic. And once it exists, everything downstream gets easier. Debt payoff gets easier because you're not adding to it. Investing gets easier because you're not rating it. Even budgeting gets easier because you're no longer living in constant emergency mode. If you don't have that first $1,000 yet, that's your mission starting today. Find $20 this week, then $20 next week. Keep stacking until you hit it. And if you're already past $1,000, congratulations, seriously. Now calculate your 3 to 6 month number and let that be the next mountain. Automate it. Build it 1 month at a time. Don't let the big number intimidate you. This can take a couple of years for plenty of people, and that is completely fine. Keep your head down and keep moving. If this video helped the pieces click for you, send it to one person who's living paycheck to paycheck without a cushion. This could genuinely change their year. And if you want more videos like this every week, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Last thing, if you made it all the way to the end, you're exactly the kind of person I make this content for. Drop a Q in the comments so I know you're here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.